All right, Jim, thanks very much. The Carolina Panthers offseason in full swing, but a guy who's enjoying his first full year of retirement. It doesn't really seem like you've retired, though, because you stay busy. Mike Rucker joining us tonight.
Good
Mike,
to be here.
Good to see you again, man. Tell me, what have you done with yourself in the last year? I mean, I know you've been busy. I know you got a lot of work that you've been doing in terms of away from football businesses and stuff. What's been going on with that?
Well, we started our website, MikeRucker.com, and basically what we wanted to do was to have an outlet so the community can reach us, whether it's nonprofits, corporations, schools, for us to come out and speak to them and be able to stay connected to the community. And that's been a real good tool for us so far.
You've also been busy, though, with you being one of the ambassadors
Yes.
for Charlotte 49er football,
Yes.
which is a pretty exciting endeavor these days.
That's a big thing for us, being an ambassador to the finance team to help raise this money for the football team coming here in a few years. So that's going to be a big challenge, but looking forward to it because there's nothing like college football in your backyard.
Yeah.
And so people won't have to go very far to get it.
When you retired, it was an emotional day.
Mm-hmm.
You said goodbye in front of the team. Mr. Richardson was there, and you stepped away and you left Bank of America Stadium for the first time as a non-member of that football team. In the days after that, how difficult was it to come to grips with it, or were you just like, this is all right?
Well, I think it was tougher leading up to that press conference. I kind of been toying with it, and when I made the call to the guys, they started putting it in motion. They were just like, hang tight, we'll get it all together. That was kind of the rough time. And then once we had the press conference, I kind of let it all out. Mm-hmm. And then I was good for a while. And then we got into this training camp. I was great. They're down there, sweating down there. And then as the season started going on, they started winning. They started doing better and better. And all of a sudden, it started turning inside, like the wheels just started rolling. And then it started to get hard. And then, but then it was kind of a catch-22 because you wanted to be able to support your boys, but it was hard not being out there helping them.
Do you miss it now, or because the way it ended in a lot of heartbreak. That'd have been a tough loss.
Absolutely.
If that had been your last game.
Absolutely. It would have been. And it's getting easier, I think, week after week. But there's still that passion for football. Now, I would never change my decision for the world.
Right.
But, little by little, it's starting to get out of my system a little bit more. As I'm doing more community things. These are the things I love to do now. I love playing football, but now I love speaking to kids, speaking to youth groups, speaking to corporations. I love doing that. And so that's kind of taking the place of football right now.
Is your wife loving having you home 24/7?
Absolutely. She's, I've had, to watch the kids more often. And, I tell you what, the stay-at-home parents out there, I tell you what, I thought Spartanburg was hard and practice was hard, but you stay home all day with 3 kids, and that's a challenge.
All right, well let's shift gears because I know you've been following the Panthers all season long, and I'm sure you've been following in the off season. How messy is the Julius Peppers situation right now? Because it seems, from an outsider's perspective, seems like there's a little bit of bad blood between franchise and player, and certainly fans have a lot of anger and animosity towards Julius right now. As a former player, kind of spell out how you see this thing and the way it's unfolded and where it can go from here.
Well, I think it's kind of all come back together a little bit. There for a while, say last month, it was all over the place. There was 50 million different scenarios. But after Jordan signed, after they franchised, Pep, it all came back together. And now it's in the Panthers' hands to see how this thing unfolds. But I don't think the fans should be upset with Pep. I don't think he both sides benefited. Great organization, a great football player. He just voiced something that he wanted to do, and I don't think that he was wrong for having those feelings. He had them. I don't think fans should be mad at him for having those feelings. But I think it'll work itself out. I think that if something could be worked out, it'll be worked out. If it can't, no matter where he's at, he's going to give it 110%, no matter what. And if it's here for another year with the organization, it's a great organization. And both of them, like I said, both sides have benefited from each other.
Have you talked to Julius throughout all this? Has he called you for some guidance or?
We've texted back and forth, but it's been more on just what's been going on, not so much football. And so, we haven't really dove into what's been kind of going on. I don't think anybody knew what was around each corner because it was kind of, can they get this deal done with Jordan? Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the catch-all.
Can you see, though, being away from the game now for a year, can you see where the fan perspective is and why some folks are upset because I think, you were around in '07, and Julius had a very down year for him in terms of the number of sacks and everything, and then he bounces back, and then, when things were going so poorly for him in '07 in terms of the numbers, the coaching staff and the organization, they stuck by him. He comes back in '08 and has the great year, and everybody is, that's the guy we told you he was last year. Those numbers didn't show it. And then at the end of it all, he says he wants to try to gain his full potential or reach his full potential. I mean, it just seems to me, as a spectator in all this, and I never played a down of football in my life, and so I don't know what you guys go through, but from an outsider's perspective, it seems like when the organization backed him as much as they did in '07, it seems like he turned his back on them just as much as this whole free agency period started.
And this is something where, with Pep, I mean, you'd have to really sit down and say, what's on your heart? But just from an outsider looking in, knowing the organization and knowing Pep, the 5 years leading up to that had, some Pro Bowl years, had some great years. A lot of times we get so emotionally attached as players, as fans, because I've been a fan last year. I was a fan. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. I'm a business owner. So I look at it from an organization perspective. And at the end of the day, it's all business. And I think sometimes we kind of leave that out because we just see it as a game. And sometimes the business is over here until the off season when you start to see that stuff. And that's the tough part about football. That's the tough part from both sides. And, when I always looked at it as if a guy has dreams, has a bucket list, has things that he wants to accomplish, you have a short time to do it. And if that's the way he felt, that's his choice, But I don't think that it was anything that anybody did. I don't think it was something that he was mad about or somebody did something wrong to him. I think he just wanted to do some other things that he had on his list to do.
MikeRucker.com is the website.
MikeRucker.com.
And you can check out Mike's businesses and how you can get in touch with him and get your organization to meet old number 93.
Absolutely. Keep us connected to the community.
It's great to see you again, boss.
Good to be here.
Mike Rucker in the studio. Let's go back to you, Jim.